But it looks like there's some, I'd call it some major updates for this testnet. And I'm just going to read through some of them real quick, and then I want to get your opinion on it. So a couple new things that just came out. Hollows and Dark Hollows are in the game now. I haven't even been on Twitter that much since this just happened. I can't wait to start seeing those popping up, because I know once those start being caught, people are going to be showing them off on Twitter. Then we have the ethereal alluvials. We touched on that a little earlier. Basically, or how it started is if you were chasing down, say, an Atlas, and you got into that battle, after you defeated that battle, the Atlas is the only one that you could catch. And then there was a quick turnaround update a few hours later where now that won't be the only one. There'll be 3 available to catch. And the other ones, which are the, ethereals, are basically just ghost alluvials. But anyways, then we go on to some economy updates. So the cost of entering an encounter has decreased, which makes sense because there's less alluvials that you're going to be able to capture. The scan cost has been reduced. For fusion and crafting, the fuel cost for fusion has been introduced.
Yeah.
Fuel cost for
Yeah. So
fusion.
basically when
I
when
haven't
you're
tried to
going,
fuse anything yet.
yeah. No, I think they're talking about just is it fusion?
Fusion is
Fuel
when
cost for fusion. Okay.
when
Fusion.
you
Yeah,
take
when you're
three
fusing.
three alluvials. I
Okay.
haven't even tried to do that yet, so that's probably why it didn't make too much sense to me. All right, so then we get the bonding curve fixed. So there was an issue, and I even made a tweet about this the other day, that I was throwing resplendent shards at, I think I was throwing at like a stage 3 lynx, where it's like a 98% capture rate, and I threw it like 3 times and lost it all 3 times, and I was like, there's something going on with this. But it looks like there was an issue with the bonding curve, and those capture rates in game were off. So it looks like they finally fixed that. So can't wait to get back out there and maybe catch some alluvials, because I was losing so many. It was bothering me. Then some other economy changes. Master Shard usage. I don't know what they changed. That's all it says. And then we have fusion and crafting costs, and then spawn rates. So Godson, why don't you start? Because I know you played a little bit today.
Yeah.
Talk about the ethereals again, if you have anything new to add, or anything else that you've seen so far.
Yeah, I
Have you
can
come
talk
across?
about. Well, I'm familiar with two things that I can give my
Yeah.
personal experience on. Just two issues there. One would be from my experience playing the Overworld. I have in one run on a tier 3 run, I encountered an Umber and a Ram fight, right? And this was right when I had about 400 energy left, right? So I couldn't even fight them. If you guys know, you're able to go into the rifts. I think it's called the Aragon Rifts, and you can get some energy back. So I found 4 of them, and I think they give you like 200 or 300 energy back. But in order for them to activate, you actually have to go all the way. You have to use all of your energy all the way down to like you have maybe 100 left, under 100 or something. So as soon as I do that, bam, you have to quickly get to these rifts and then get back to the alluvials that you found before the dome closes or whatever. So the good thing that they've done with this change now is that they've reduced the cost, because the problem that I had is, even though I got to all these rifts, I was only able to fight one of them because it was like 560 energy to actually get in there. And the rifts didn't even give me that much back to actually do 2 fights. So I missed out on them because I lost. So that was actually needed. The cost to fight these alluvials was a little too high. I think 500 something was a little high for just 4,000 energy. So that was great. Scan, I didn't mind 20. That's fine, but now it's 10. That's cool.
Did you come across any hollows?
No hollows yet. So
No.
hopefully
Yeah.
soon. They said they put them in there. So yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I hope they're really rare. Like, I hope I'm not seeing them all over Twitter. I already feel like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I feel like I'm seeing too many Ophistos and Ramfires. Like, I wanted those to seem more rare. So hopefully I get that feeling with these hollows and dark hollows. Like, they're just so rare that I could scroll through Twitter and maybe I only see 1 or 2 people post it per day. But yeah, I want to get in there and see those, because that'll be some excitement, especially when you're
Do
streaming.
you still have that screen that you showed what the updates were? Because I can probably jump onto one of those other points that I had there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let me share the screen here.
okay, it
Um,
was the Master Shards. Okay, there it is. Yeah, the Master Shards. So, okay, this is the second thing I wanted to talk about. Like, I've grinded up to getting there's drone attachments where you can actually make your capture rate. I think it goes up to 35. I think 35%, right? So
I think
you
that's
could
what it
put
is.
2 of these on your
35
drone.
and
Yeah, so you can put two attachments of 35% capture rate, right? So then you get up to like, what is that, 70% capture rate if you put two of them on there? But using a master shard with those attachments, both those attachments and the highest, shard you can get, you'll get maybe a 30% chance of capturing a tier 5. And I'm like, wow, okay, so it's useless. You basically have to either like sell all these to get these master shards. The
Yeah.
master shard,
Resplendent
okay.
is the tier 5.
I got it mixed up then, yeah. Well, then what do we need with the master shards? It's 100% rate.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive though, the master shard, and
It already
I
is.
like that too. Yeah, my 0.1 ETH I collect every day, and the past week I've just been using it to make like 3 master
Yeah,
shards. Or
I
something
think
like
with 100, I think I've been using the testnet for ETH. Yeah, about $1,000 will give you maybe 4 or 5 of these shards.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
going to be
I think it's
expensive.
about 4 or 5 for $1,000. So
Yeah,
maybe that's the
so
moneymaker right there.
I know. I think a lot of people when we get into the open beta are going to be maybe caught off guard by that, because a lot of people are just relying on grinding out and getting these master shards and then catching anything they want. But when we get into open beta and they're like, I think someone broke it down. I think it was the last episode with Caveman. He said it's close to like $130, or I guess expected to be around $130 to make a master shard. And that's pretty expensive. Like, you're only going to want to use that on top tier alluvials. So there's going to be a lot of people not capturing what they used to capture when we get into open beta, or willing to spend a ton of money to make these master shards.
Yeah.
Jimbo, what are your thoughts on these changes? I
I
don't know if
mean,
you've played it
just going on the shard topic, I think there's going to be a huge area for people to make money who can use the resplendent shards effectively because of how expensive master shards are. It's just going to be more. It's just going to make more sense economically to use resplendent shards in an intelligent way. But other than that, all of this just looks like some random stuff. I'm really sad to see hollow and dark hollows are being enabled. It's gonna suck if I play and I find one and it's not on the actual like main release. That's gonna piss
Yeah.
me off. But hey, what can you do?
Yeah, I actually would have been happy if they kept dark hollows and
I think
dark
they should
hollows
have,
until open beta.
but maybe they
Exactly.
test the drop
They
rate. Maybe
yeah,
they
they
need to
might need
test.
it for the tests, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like what happens if they just released it on the main release and it's like 1 in 10 instead of 1 in 10,000? That would
Wow.
be really unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm sure they need it. They need it for testing, but it would have been nice. And I'm sure we're gonna get plenty of things. Like, I'm sure we won't see anything about Leviathans in this test net. So that'll be something that comes into the open beta. But yeah, it would be nice to still get into that open beta and be like, all right, we have something new here, and something that we haven't heard really much about. But I'm hoping that when we get into open beta, we have at least one more region to play around with. I know I think the next region that they're looking to get out is Taiga Boreal. So that would be nice to get that on open beta. But we haven't heard anything official on that yet.
Wait,
But yeah,
which which levels are we getting when on the July 25th? Are we getting? But they said something about they have to unlock it, right? I heard that we have to unlock the
yeah,
region.
so yeah, I think that's the plan. I haven't heard that in a while. I'm not sure if that changed, but yeah, originally I guess it was you'd start with one region and then someone would have to unlock the new region and then you'd be able to go to the next one. I'm not really sure how that plays out, to be honest with you. But if they do that, it might give a little extra time before they need to have Taiga Boreal ready or anything further than that, because maybe it takes a few months to unlock the first 3 that we already have, and then Taiga Boreal comes after that. Anything else on these overworld updates before we move on?
Well, I don't know if you guys are in the loop or if you can talk about this, but what do you guys think is going to happen with the multiplayer or like the battle system? Because I know I thought I heard we're going to be fighting alluvials out there and missions and having a multiplayer. I think I don't quote me on this or anything, but I think because I've seen a lot of game awards with crypto games, and Big Time has been taking a lot of the cake. So maybe this and Power World just made the whole switch in direction. Like, hey, okay, we can't just do this, battle system. We actually need to have this more grandier, bigger thing that we have going on in the overworld. So I don't know how it's going to happen. Do you guys know anything about that?
No, if I had to take a
Yeah.
guess, I would think like multiplayer in the overworld isn't what most people are expecting. I'm thinking probably just like raid bosses, like you go in and fight a Leviathan and you get some kind of drop for it. That's what goes in my brain. But as far as like actual announcements on what that looks like, I don't think we've gotten anything yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so obviously with Illuvium, especially because it's an adapt, a lot of things are said, but it's not always in place. Sometimes it needs to pass through the council and all that. But I did hear about the possibility of Sanctum Mesa, so that the first original place that you spawn there, that will kind of be like a community hub. So you might be able to run around there with other people and communicate. But then when you actually travel to a region, you would just be by yourself. A little speculation on my part, which I would think is cool, is kind of what Jimbo was just saying. Like, it would be cool if you could team up with some other people to go fight like a Leviathan or something like that. Because we saw at the end of that trailer, and they always seem to sneak it in there. Like, these things are huge, and I don't think your Ranger and your Alluvials are going to be able to take it on by themselves. I would think you might have to have multiple Rangers and Alluvial teams to take down one of these Leviathans. So that would be cool. But I do think getting some kind of multiplayer aspect in there is very important. Most of the games that I've played over the past 10 years, I play because my friends are playing and I could get on a chat with them. Like, I haven't just been playing to play by myself. So I think that's how a lot of people are these days. So
Yeah,
getting
this
something like that into Illuvium would be very important in my eyes.
yeah, the social aspect is really big. That's really key, I think, because that's what made most of the top games. If you think about, Blizzard games or mobile games like Clash, is having this global, social aspect in the game. This really helps out. So maybe that's a step in the right direction.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Pal World, did so good. Because I even had, my brother and friends reaching out to me, being like, "Oh, I set up a Pal World server, jump in." I actually never played it, but that's what I'm
It's a
hoping to
great game.
I'm hoping to get that with Illuvium.